Well, thanks, Simon, for the introduction, and thanks all of you for coming today. I'm going to spend the next couple minutes talking a little bit about Ning and what we do, and a lot more about how really social media is changing the landscape, not only of the internet, but also around politics and causes and everything that we hold near and dear. So one of the things that we saw very clearly in 2008 is that the newest killer app for the internet has really been all about connecting people. And we've seen this in a number of different ways. So Facebook and MySpace, which I think many of you are familiar with and likely users of. Facebook last week passed 175 million registered users, and half of those people use the service actively every week. MySpace is over 200 million users, and both services within the next couple of years will cross the 500 million user mark. To put that in perspective, less than 10 years ago, the entire active internet population was under 130 million. So the fact that you have two services that are bigger than the internet as a whole was 10 years ago is quite remarkable. Similarly, in 2008, YouTube consumed more bandwidth in terms of people watching streaming video than the entire internet did just 8 years prior. So more bandwidth was used by YouTube alone in 2008 than was used by the whole internet in the year 2000. So it's just, it's crazy the way things are going. And as Simon mentioned, that rate of change is only accelerating, not slowing down. So what we're seeing is that as people have become more comfortable and familiar with social networking and social media on the internet, that they're increasingly wanting to really create their own social network or take what some of these other services have popularized and make it their own. And in this world, we're seeing more and more people are creating their own social networks around a particular topic or a candidate. They're using their message and their ideas to shape what's happening and what's going on with the network. They want to use their choice of features in terms of how they construct and create their networks, and these features are evolving over time from starting fairly simply and becoming more and more complicated and robust. And then finally, and perhaps most importantly, people and candidates and causes want to be able to control the data that's contained in their social network. So they want to know about their members, about their users, about what people are doing, where they're spending their time, what people who are members of their social networks are passionate about. And that's really what Ning is we've created a platform that lets you create your own social network for anything. Today, we're the largest provider of social networks across the internet. We have over 850,000 individual networks that have been built on our platform. We're adding roughly 3,500 new networks every single day. 3,500 new networks are being created on the Ning platform every day. We're adding 2 million members per month. And both of those numbers have more than doubled from 3 months ago. So just 3 months ago, there were about 1,500 new networks being created on the platform, and we were adding about 1 million members per month. So we've got this kind of interesting flywheel going where as the service gets bigger, it gets bigger at an ever-increasing rate. I think maybe the best way to demonstrate what we're all about and what people are doing with Ning is I put together a short video that kind of takes a cross-section of what's going on around politics and causes and networks on Ning. And given that we're living in a post-partisan world, as we read every day, you'll see that some of these examples really span across the political spectrum. So, Dan, if you could roll it.
I'm Molly Matesic, and I'm the General Manager of the Peace Corps Connect online social networking community.
My name is Erica Berman. I'm Director of Communications for the National Peace Corps Association.
We really wanted to create a space where over 200,000 people who've served in the Peace Corps can connect with each other across physical and intergenerational boundaries.
A lot of people are coming to the site based on personal invitations from, so the first person gets onto the site and they email people that they're still in touch with.
One of our grand visions is to help leverage the experiences that Peace Corps volunteers have in their villages. For example, the man who's working on water sanitation in Lesotho could connect with the Peace Corps volunteer who now has a PhD in hydrology.
You know, the site's really fulfilling what we see as its mission.
This is the first time that folks who served in the Peace Corps 30 years ago have a medium to tell their stories.
Across generations, across fields of interest, that's where the potential really lies.
My name is Andrew McDowell. I'm the Director of Client Services at the Bivings Group.
My name is Todd Ziegler, and I'm a Senior Vice President at the Bivings Group, which is a Washington, D.C. based interactive agency with a focus on politics and public affairs. The social networking stuff in general has really taken off in D.C., particularly after the 2008 cycle.
The Pickens Plan was actually started in July of 2008.
The overall Pickens list is 1.4 million for emails, and 200,000 of those people are on Push. That is a network aimed at promoting the Pickens Plan and allowing supporters of the Pickens Plan to advocate better energy policies. And so Push is kind of like almost the special forces of the Pickens Plan.
Ning provides a way of turning the concept of a social network into a social action or a social advocacy network.
We think of it as kind of an activist network as opposed to a social network.
Little
Patrick
commercial from the
Graffiti,
opposition
co-founder
here.
of Rebuild the Party.
And I'm Mindy Finn, a co-founder of Rebuild the Party, an organization started 2 days after the November 2008 election to lay out a plan for the future of the Republican Party.
It really offered a platform for our base of supporters, thousands of whom signed up, to basically take it to the next level without really any central direction from us, and really made it much more powerful. Kind of the things that people on political campaigns, which we work with, dream about, which is to have a community take off just virally and organically.
My name is Zeba Khan, and I am the Strategic Initiatives Director at the LIST project to resettle Iraqi allies. We are a small nonprofit that basically focuses on helping Iraqis who helped us, the United States. Because they helped typically as translators for our military, they're now being hunted down and killed in Iraq. Our focus is get them resettled as fast as possible. We created a toolkit for the American people who wanted to be involved. The idea being to empower everyone. We now have over 35 chapters across the country. Through those chapters, if we have Iraqis placed near them, they sort of adopt them. The greatest thing about the network is you put something out there and people will run with it. It's a testament, I think, to the country to see Americans taking ownership of this and saying, hey, we owe these people.
All right, so that's a little bit more about what we do and how different people are using it. What I thought I'd spend the rest of the presentation on is really talking about how does what we do at Ning and creating your own social network really fit within a broad, effective social media strategy. So a couple more examples. This was a network that was created during the primary season where called Obama Cycle, and the focus was really on taking primary materials, so yard signs, one sheets, et cetera, from one state to another, and rather than having them all be trash after a primary, some of the Obama volunteers created this network as a way to effectively move that material and recycle it. A lot of these other networks you saw in here. Sarah Palin has a very active web presence on Ning. Started as an informal network for her, but has really evolved into her official web presence. And let me transition now into basically where we focus from a technological perspective, which is really making it super easy for you to create the kind of experiences that you saw both on the slides and on the video. So it takes about 10 minutes to set up a network on Ning. You start by going to ning.com. You choose your topic. You can decide whether or not you want to make it a public or a private experience, and you can describe a little bit about what the network is you're trying to create. We today support over 24 different languages, so it's truly a global platform. About 40% of our traffic today is international. Once you do that, you can then select the features that you want to have on the network. And one of the things that we think is important is that social networks evolve over time as your user base and your membership evolves. And we give you the power and flexibility to be able to do that. You have a huge range of control over the look and feel of your network. We provide over 50 templates that give you different color schemes and fonts and the like, and you have full ability to go ahead and customize that further. So super easy to get started. And then let me just close with kind of where we think Ning fits within the overall spectrum of services. So we think the model that works best is a digital hub and spoke strategy. And to give you a little bit better idea of what this means, this is something that the Obama campaign executed on extremely well in the last cycle. What we mean by that is that it's critical that you have your own digital hub, and we think that a great candidate for that is your own social network on Ning, because for all the reasons that I've been talking about in terms of your control of the experience, your control of the look and feel, the message, the ideas, the features, et cetera. But because people are really working everywhere on the internet and are active in a bunch of different places, you also want to have a presence on as many social services as makes sense for you. So the kind of four biggies are Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, and Twitter. But what you really want to be doing in each one of those places is using your message and using your content in each one of those areas to drive your members back into your own digital hub, where you can really capture their data and you can deepen and strengthen the relationship that you have with them. Once you get them back to your digital hub, it turns into a great place to do things like communicate around your policies and positions, to have a rapid response mechanism for any issues that come up, to use it as a destination to drive people with email blasts that you might be sending out, to organize events, and perhaps most importantly, you can then use the most active members, as we heard about the Pickens plan doing, really as your own special forces, as a way to extend your reach, identify your super volunteers, and use them in an online and offline capacity. Couple of parting thoughts that we've learned through the various networks on the Ning platform. So first and foremost is if it's authentic, it works. If it's highly polished and fake, people see right through that quickly. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing in social networking rings true to your cause and to your message. Second is that specific is always better than general, meaning that you want to make sure there's a call to action or something that you're asking your members to do as part of coming to and joining your network. So whether it's looking at and responding to new content, or asking them to volunteer for something, or asking them to make calls on your behalf, all of those things really resonate and register with people, versus if you just say, hey, come look at this cool new thing we've set up, that tends to be less powerful. As I mentioned before, you really want your social network to evolve over time, so that the features that you want to have on the network on day one are very different than what you want on the network on day 90. So what we see from our data is that the top three things that people like the best are they like to watch videos, they like to look at photos, and then they like to look at other people in terms of looking at their profile pages. The thing that they won't immediately do is join forums and join discussions. So you want to start with photos, blogs, videos, latest activity feeds, and then add things like forums down the road. And then finally, I think the most important point is, it's easy to get wrapped up in the technology, but what we find more and more is it's really about the people. So you want to get the people there, you want to create interaction between them, and then you want to get out of the way and let them take it over. Thank you.